Hello friends, Porter Thorndike here and excited to introduce WebFOCUS integration with TIBCO data virtualization. Why would a WebFOCUS customer be interested in integrating with data virtualization? Ultimately, I think you know, WebFOCUS has pretty strong data access, but TIBCO data virtualization is enterprise class, market leading data virtualization. Does some things similar to WebFOCUS, but really is going to extend the amount of data sources the WebFOCUS can access. It has a particular expertise in things like cloud and streaming sources of data. And once you connect to those sources of data and you may model them and you may deliver virtualized views to WebFOCUS or for other purposes, you get a number of additional benefits. Some of those things are self-service, business level type access via a data catalog. Really nice built-in query optimization, going to push in the query processing down to the underlying database. It's got built-in things like caching to speed up slow-running queries and much more. So here's how it works, and here's what we've built in. You know, originally, when we looked at connecting WebFOCUS to TIBCO data virtualization, it just worked out of the box using the WebFOCUS JDBC adapter, but we wanted to do more. And so what we're introducing in release 9.02 is a named adapter. Oh, Porter, what's the big deal with the difference between JDBC and a named adapter? Well, ultimately, it's going to give you a higher quality data exchange, and it's going to work easier and better. There's no configuration. You don't have to load and configure jar files, or you don't have to do anything if you have TDB and WebFOCUS. And it looks like this. We've got a named adapter. You'll notice I've got a connection. Let's take a look at what that connection looks like. It's just information on the TDB environment, like the port number and the machine name and the security. Now, once we configure that and we want to browse the objects, it is leveraging native TDB capabilities here. Like TDB organizes data into catalogs and into schemas, so it's going to leverage that. You'll notice we have access to all of the objects, whether those be single tables or actual combinations of virtualized views, and we can create metadata and take that right into the WebFOCUS Designer or any of the content creation tools. So let's talk about a real-world use case for how that might be valuable. My favorite one is a wealth manager that I worked with. And many WebFOCUS customers are building these highly prompted applications that mirror the experience of a consumer application. And this wealth manager I was working with said, we want to build an application that's dynamic all the way around. And what that meant to them was that they had the flexibility to add new data attributes, calculations, dimensions, measures, filter criteria as those data sources or objects became available or as new calculations became relevant. That's the back end piece, right? Now, on the front end piece, that means exposing an application like this, right? That an investor or a financial advisor could say, hey, I'm, sensitive to expenses and I want no fee funds, and that trims their selections, and I click results. And it takes me to something like a results page like this, right? This feels familiar. This is like Expedia. This is like shopping for a mutual fund. This is what WebFOCUS does. And then you get presented with secondary selections. I want to reduce the volatility. And WebFOCUS can expose anything as a parameter, not just filters, things like output formats, things like dimensionality or measurement criteria. If you're not interested in that performance, but you're interested in risk and you're interested in manager tenure, you can just customize this. And so that's the front end piece. Can we combine TDB and WebFOCUS to support anyone that wants an application that's dynamic all the way around? The answer is yes. Here's how we do it. With TDB, right, you might have a data warehouse that was built. Oh man, it took forever to build it to support this application. What happens when there's a new calculation, a new attribute, a new source of data? Do we have to rebuild the data warehouse? The answer is no. With TDB, right? You could have that data warehouse mapped. That data warehouse could actually be virtual with TDB, right? You could have all of these tables. These tables could be different sources. It could be streaming data, cloud data, relational databases, and you can model and provision these virtualized views to WebFOCUS. So great, sounds great, Porter. We got the first iteration of the application rolled out, but now all these new sources of data are becoming relevant and I'm interested. Well, it's super easy to just drop new tables and sources of data onto the canvas and provision new virtualized views that to WebFOCUS looks like a single view, the same view that was built to use this application. In WebFOCUS, I'm just going to show you the code view. This is all done graphically at this point. Well, WebFOCUS is essentially just creating this really highly parameter-driven application. It's looking at a source and it's looking at metadata. This might be your virtualized view from TDV that can change, right? You can change it at the TDV level to add all of the new attributes you need. Then everything else is just variable in terms of how it's sorting, how it's being measured, what the filter criteria are, etc. And it allows you to build and design these pages, right, that are being fed by whatever that virtualized view is. And that virtualized view, oh, we've got 3 new measures, boom, and you do it at the TDV level. It just happens automatically on the WebFOCUS end of things. That to me is the value, the flexibility that you get on the back end with TDV, in the front end with WebFOCUS to build applications that are dynamic all the way around. Thank you.